Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. Y'all know these days start running together since COVID. I still can't keep them straight, but praise the Lord, we here anyway. Before we get started, I am going to ask you ladies, first of all, thank you. Thank you for being here. But if you wouldn't mind sharing the broadcast out to your page, I would greatly appreciate that. Let me see if I can turn this off on here. Okay. And while we are doing that, I don't see it on mine. Jesus. Do y'all ladies see it? Okay, there it is. Let me
Yes.
share this on share it here. Okay. All right. So while we are y'all are doing that, I just want to again thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Just so that everyone knows, while we're here, wanted to have a panel discussion with some of the ladies that attended the Pillow Talk that I hosted last year. I did it just for the wives last year, but wanted to ask these ladies to share some of their experience and what that was like. Because a lot of times people hear the titles like Pillow Talk, don't really understand what it is, what happens, who's open to come. I had a Caucasian lady ask me the other day, was it only for, a certain race, which kind of caught me off guard, but I was glad that she had the courage to ask me because we had the opportunity to have some dialogue around Pillow Talk, what I do, and what God has given my hand to do. And it was a wonderful conversation. So I'll start by saying that Pillow Talk is not just for Black people. It is for all races of people because the thing about hurt is it impacts everyone. It does not discriminate. So whether you're Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever denomination you are welcome to come to Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk was created for women to come and have a place where they can share the different things that they walk through. There's conversations that we have that aren't always talked about so freely and so openly. And so sometimes we just need a place to be able to go and know that we're not alone, to know that it's okay to share, because when you share your story, it gives somebody else the freedom to share theirs. And so that's what I created Pillow Talk for, is to have those tough conversations and to have an environment where we can come and safeguard one another is the goal and the purpose and the plan of it. So thank you, Chanel, for joining me today. Thank you, Jajisa, for joining me today. I know you ladies are very busy, so I don't take it lightly. So, with that said, I am going to, first of all, excuse me, I am going to go ahead. I was going to have you guys share a little bit about yourselves. You can if you want to, you don't have to. Otherwise, we'll just jump right into the questions because I want to be able to have an open conversation today, so that somebody will be blessed, that somebody can be encouraged. It's one thing when you see a post and it's always the person that's hosting the event, that's sharing the information, that's talking about it. But sometimes we need to hear how other people think. And so I wanted to be able to allow ladies to hear, what did the people attending the event, what did they actually have to say about the event? How did they feel? What did it mean to them? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we go into the questions, and I cannot not say this, so just forgive me because it keeps coming. Prophetess Chanel, do you have anything that you would like to share as well as Jesus? How did I end up in the house with two prophets today? But do either of you ladies have anything you would like to share before we get started?
Let's go. Let's go. I am excited. Let's go because I feel the people need this. I feel there's a wife out there. I feel that there's a person that really something is going to be said that's going to really impact and change somebody. It's not only change, it's going to give them hope. So let's go. Talk about me anytime. Let's go.
Oh, all right. Mr. G, so you looking like you amening.
You know I am. You know I am. You know I am.
Okay, so well, the first question that I have, and I'm gonna give both of you the opportunity to respond to this. But what was your experience at the last pillow talk? And we can start off with you, Prophetess Chanel. You can share, and then Jujisa, you can come right behind her.
My experience, I had such a, I didn't know what to expect. Even though me and Katrina, they'll think we Thelma and Louise. I still didn't have, I didn't know what to expect. And once questions was asked, once activities was done, it for me, the burning of our thoughts, the burning, literally, y'all, we burnt things. And to see that you had at the end where we all had wrote that something down and we was able to burn it, I that experience for me was stay. It was stay with me. Not only will it was stay with me, Dr. Katrina, it also helped me to do it often as I need. You know, when you learn stuff at places, sometimes you think it's just for that place. It's never just for that place. That's another tool in your toolbox to help you get through rough times, get through patches, get through things concerning yourself. So for me, that was so important. It was it not only that, the other great experience I had was the ladies being truthful. And not only they're being truthful, it's when you see yourself or see a little piece of you in that lady, so you somewhat know I'm not alone. This happens more than just me. So for me, that was important. I love intimate settings. I love getting with ladies and dialoguing and finding out the way we think. So that was exciting. So I can't wait. Well, I can wait to next month to see what else God has. So for me, Doc, that's what really touched me. The burning of thoughts, things that was holding us back, things that was something that you didn't feel good about, and we were able to burn it. And also having something to take back with me. See, I keep this on my desktop. I keep this on my desk because you look at it and you able to reminisce on that day. So for me, it empowered me not only for a moment. You taught me how to fish there. Your setting was nothing that you gave me a fish. You taught me how to fish. I'm done.
All
Go
right
ahead.
now. I love it. That burning was something else. I don't think I'll ever forget that either. I think the thing that hit the most with that experience with was one of the sisters was burning one of the things, and that was I believe it was pride that wouldn't it would not burn. It would not burn. And the sister that was burning, and I'm not, putting names out there, but the sister that was burning, she was like, and she had somewhere to go. And she's like, no, we're not leaving until this thing's burnt, till it burned. And we literally stood out there until that thing burnt up, but it did not want to burn. So thank you for sharing that. Jajisa, what was your experience like at the
Yes,
last
I
Pillow Talk?
I probably can piggyback right off Chanel, what Chanel said. I thought that's the part that stood out to me the most. But I want to say the level of vulnerability and transparency with the women. I've never been to like a women's conference or anything like that. I've been in communities with women, but to be in such an intimate setting and really not going in with any preconceived notion. As we started playing the games and people start to speak, what was breathtaking about the experience is sometimes you feel like you have, it's not arrived, but certain things you heal from. And as the conversation begin to go around the room, you begin to think. And I remember at that one particular time, Holy Spirit kind of hit me in the gut. I could feel it. I was like, oh, that hurt. But it was for me to be cognizant of the fact that healing is continuous. It's always it's a life journey. And even though we come to a place of healing into totality, I feel like, I think that, okay, you're the one that actually said it. You were like, sometimes we have to go back in and kind of fine tune some things. And so it was a good time to take a mirror to myself and begin to look at those things and realize that as each woman was talking, that the journey of pain, it's necessary for where God is trying to take us, right? And so when we look at it, I was like, wow, to see them in the room, to see everybody was on a different journey in different places, but to come together and when I say iron kind of iron sharpens iron, because each woman was able to kind of give their input into certain things, right? And bounce on each other. And also on top of that, for it to be women who I had never met. I knew Chanel like off of Clubhouse and stuff like that, but to meet them and the level of comfort and peace in the room, right? Everybody was very accepting of one another. And so a lot of times I think that's the biggest thing when you're going into an atmosphere you don't know what to expect and you're kind of like, I'm just going to kind of stay to myself. But when the conversation begin to start, you couldn't help but start to speak. It's like you're like, you know what? No, I'm saying something, right? And so I thought that was so profound. Like I said, it's something about being amongst women. I love it. And especially for women to have a safe place that they can come to where they're not judged, where they're not looked down on, where no one is saying these particular things. And then on top of that, the different women in different walks of their lives, right? With a lady who was married for, I don't know how many years it was, Dr. K, 20 something years, I want to say. I forgot how long she was married, and to glean from her and listen to what she's walked through,
I
even
think
in her
it was
marriage.
30. It was
It
over
was
30
30
years.
something. Yeah, 30 something years. So I thought that was just, to get the wisdom from each woman. I thought that was profound. So yeah, that's what I would say. The experience was none other.
Wow. Wow. That you said something. You said the journey of pain was necessary. My that'll preach right there. I ain't gonna go down there because I can get stuck right there. But that is so powerful. The journey of pain is necessary. And one of the things that I want to talk about during this upcoming pillow talk, we didn't hit on it in the last one. But the Holy Ghost brought it back up to me this past week. And it's funny because I heard the term, Prophetess Chanel actually gave it to me months ago, and I put it on a card. But she talked about pain rewards. And I put it on the card and hadn't really a whole lot with it, but it has really been something that he has been giving me nuggets to dig deeper into. And so that's one of the things that I want to touch on this. There are some rewards, y'all. And I know it sounds crazy. It sounded crazy when Chanel first said it to me, but there are some rewards attached to pain. And I'm not going to go into it. You have to register and come and see me on May 20th, and we'll talk about it more. But it's that thing when you said that, Jajisa, it reminded me again. When you said the journey of pain was necessary, it reminded me again of the pain rewards. And boy, man, I could go somewhere with that, but I'm not. I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to go to my next question, which is, what were your apprehensions before coming? And I'm going to start with you, Jajisa, on that. I know Chanel kind of touched on it a little bit when she answered the first question. She didn't really have an expectation or any pre-thought to it. But for you, Jajisa, you traveled from Arkansas by way of Atlanta to get here. And that means something because you didn't have to do that. Not only did you make the investment of your time, you made the investment of your finances to be able to come and to share with us. So what were your apprehensions, if any, before coming to Pillow Talk last year?
To be very honest with you, I had none. I just didn't know what to expect. That's just me though. I didn't really have any apprehensions. It wasn't really any concerns. I think I just was trying to figure out in what capacity God was going to either use me to speak or what I was going to receive. I think for me, I was it's the excitement of it, not really knowing what to expect. Just like Chanel said, there was no preconceived notion. And so being amongst other women is not a big issue for me, or even being accepted by other people, So I just want to see what the room was going to be like. Like I said before, no, if everybody was going to be engaged, if it was going to be like, some people kind of be standoffish. I think that's the biggest thing kind of people think about in those type of things. But for me, everything leading up to that point, even getting there, a lot of that journey to even get to Dr. K at that time was a bit of warfare going on with that as well. So I knew it was something that God wanted to do in the atmosphere. And so for me, I don't really think I had any apprehensions. I think it was more or less expectations about what was going to take place and what I was going to walk away with, right? And for me, I felt like, yes, it was a turning point. Like I said before, God had that gut punch, like, okay, hold on, what's that? Like, where'd that come from, And so I think that's the thing that for me, I'm always in a position where, because that's, like I said, pain is a journey. We're not going to touch that. I understand that if I'm feeling something, God wants to deal with it, right? And if he deals and reveals it, right, as he exposes that thing, he wants to heal me from it, right? So I believe it was a journey. Something was going to be ignited to carry me to the next stage, or even elevate me to where God was trying to take me to. So it's more or less about expectation rather than apprehension.
All right, now I love it. Chanel.
Well, um, I kind of feel like with in the room, just in the room, and knowing you, I guess knowing you, I knew that this was, I know what's in you. I know the value that you carry. So I'm gonna tell you, it was for me, it was good. It was like I saw a baby being born, if I can say that. I saw your ministry being born, and I was in the labor and deliver room with you, and I saw what all God can do. And I still see it. I saw it in the natural, but I also saw it in the spirit realm, what all God can do. So, and I want to say this though, and then get me if I'm getting off track. You said something about like the traveling and investing in yourself. I I believe I it's things cost you. Even the wrong stuff costs you. Even
Whew.
even the things, the cupcakes and Twinkies and donuts cost me, y'all. They cost me. So any as things gonna cost you. And I'm just making a conscious decision to allow whatever's in my now season and my father season to be rich, to be on purpose, to be not only to be on purpose, but to know that with the reward of what I'm paying for, because you really can't pay for this. It's because it's so rich. It doesn't have a price tag, but it's the reward of it. So traveling, not only traveling, it's spending your day, your time, and settings that we're set and we sitting in like pillow talk. That's a lot of getting it back. Because I don't want to say reward, because I'm gonna leave that for the day you have everything. But it's it's like getting the best thing. It's like getting the best part of something. It's like you're not getting the second, the hand-me-downs. You're getting the best. And so I say the trust in the reward you're going to get. Trust in the reward of knowing that this is something you are investing in. You are investing in you first. Before you invest in anything that's connected to you, you are investing in you first. And so, Doc, I really do. We supposed to be using like titles? Because I said Doc. Should I say Katrina?
No, no, you can say whatever. We free here. We are not bound by
Okay.
titles. I just went out, there are certain times when, I have to acknowledge the gift that's on you. And so
Yeah.
I know that both of you all walk in the office of prophet. So I cannot, I could not say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But we not bound by titles. So yeah,
Yeah.
you free.
So, and I tried to write down but the biggest thing I want to say, and I'm probably off, but I gotta say it, the investment is real. The investment is real. And knowing pillow talk, listen, you're not reinventing the wheel. That's what I like. This is something that we haven't seen. So that's another thing. Investing in the new, investing in, this is what we call, when we was all in the pandemic, the next. Doc, this is the next. This is the next, and the people need it. The people need it. The people want it. I tell you, you're gonna look like a lemon, because we're gonna squeeze everything out of you. And the reason why we must squeeze, because we must get out of these tight fits, out of these generational learning ways. What I'm saying? Let me be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
Look, it'll make you do that. It'll
Yeah,
make you go there. Look,
yeah.
Jadisha started. We gonna blame her,
Yeah,
but
it's
it is you.
because I
Yeah,
spoke
yeah.
about answer a whole different thing. But when y'all say, I'm like, wait a minute, they got to know what this really is. This I'm learning because I'm hanging around some folks, y'all. Because you gotta friend up. You gotta be stretched. And I'm hanging around what used to be. I need a $20 something, or I need a $10 something. God is saying, no, take it because I'm providing, but I'm providing because you need what's in the room. So I'm telling you, Doc is needed. What's in the room is needed. So let me stop. I'm gonna write the next question down so I don't get sidetracked. As long as you don't say nothing, so if you don't say nothing to sidetrack me, I'll stay on track.
Look, I can't make no promises. I'm look, Jajisa started it, so she getting the blame. I can't make no promises. I'm grateful to God, like I said, the struggle, I don't even want to say struggle, the warfare is real. And so it's so important. I know that it's needed. I know that it's necessary, but I also know that people have questions. I also know that people are still dealing with fear. Can I go? Who else is going to be there that knows me? What if, is something I said is taken back? So I know people have these questions. So that is why we're here today. If you're just joining us, I see a few people, Dion, Octavia, there was someone else that I saw join. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk is an event that I'm hosting May 20th. It's a brunch and it's going to be over in Indian Rocks Beach. And I started having this event last year. We started with the wives. This one is open to all women. And it's a place where we can come and talk about things that people aren't talking about. And I think we learned, Chanel touched on it earlier, a lot of this stuff magnified. I'm not going to say it happened. It magnified when COVID happened. And so many of us as women are struggling behind closed doors because we are always concerned about the other person. We're natural care. We're natural caregivers. And so we are always concerned about the daughter, the husband, the ministry, the job, all these things, but we don't have time to really talk about the thing that's ailing us. And so then when we go to sleep at night, I always say, I know what David meant when he said, my tears became my meat, because I didn't have an opportunity to share because of fear, shame, being rejected, whatever you want to tag it as, or just too busy. I'm dealing with everybody else stuff, so I don't have to deal with mine. And so now I think that whole getting off the thing is running a little rampant. So I'm gonna get back over to the question, but I want you all to hear my heart. That's what this is about. It's about a place for women to come and let's talk about the things that we don't get to talk about. Let's talk about the person, not the person, but let's talk about forgiveness of the person that you cannot. In your heart of heart, you've said, I can never forgive them. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the rejection. Let's talk about the hurt. Let's talk about the abandonment. Let's talk about the strong woman that I got it all together and I'm healed and I don't need no help. Jajisa talked about it when we opened up with the first question. Many of us are at a place where we feel like we are completely healed, and you may be. I'm not saying you're not, but healing is continual. You will find by listening to other people that, ooh, that hurt right there, and then you may not even understand it, but you'll leave and you'll be like, okay, why did that bother me still? And then when you ask those questions, you allow room now to really deal with that thing that's maybe hidden, that's under the rug, and so you can deal with the trigger of it, and then we can move on, because there might be some residue. That's all I'm saying. You might be healed, whole, filled with the Holy Ghost, blessed, highly favored, all that stuff, but there might be some residue that we need to deal with. And that's why I invite you to come to Pillow Talk. So stop being quiet, Dion. It's time to speak up. Dion says she's been quiet. But let me go to the next question, because I feel a preach in me. Lord Jesus. Okay, so Jajisa, I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm not gonna ask Prophetess this question, Chanel. But and you kind of talked on it, but I'm still going to ask it anyway. What would you say the atmosphere was like? You were one that really didn't know anybody in the room. Like you said, you had seen Chanel in some of the rooms that I'd hosted on Clubhouse, but you didn't really know anybody there other than me. So what was the atmosphere like for you?
First, I want to say it was fun, but even though we had a lot of serious conversation, it did start out very fun because the icebreakers and stuff like that. So getting to know the women, everybody was very welcoming. But I will say also that the atmosphere is charged. I do remember at that time sitting at the table, I literally felt like Holy Spirit came and sat down at the table with us. So as the conversation began to go forth and every woman began to start to share what it is that whatever, because the questions that you gave us that you kind of like pre wrote out and we picked them out or whatever, it really made you take the time to really explore and say to yourself, okay, how do I really feel about this particular thing? So for me, I feel like it was a safe place. It wasn't, like I said before, it wasn't a place of judgment. I didn't see anybody looking down at me. It was no shame, no guilt, no condemnation. It was nothing like that. And so oftentimes when you're coming in and like I said, you don't know anyone, that's probably some of the things that will go through your mind. Like, I'm scared to say this thing, but the boldness of some of the women when they started speaking their story, it gave you the courage to begin to speak. You're like, well, if she said that, then I can say this, right? And so the different perspectives, like I said, the wisdom, everybody giving their input in the room. I forgot that I was in the room with women who I didn't know. Right, even though I knew Chanel from like on Facebook and April on I'm sorry, on Clubhouse. And so as I began to speak and other people, you realize the commonality of just being a woman, right? Outside of your demographic, whatever. And just like you said before, we're all Black women, but we all come from different backgrounds, right? Raised differently. And so as we have the conversation, begin to realize, hold on, we have a lot more in common than we are different, right? And so I think that's the biggest thing. It was a safe place. There was nothing, people cried, right? But they were comforted, ministered to, whatever. It was very uplifting. And even as people left, that you could tell something has sparked, something began. Just like when Chanel was saying how something was birthed. Even in the women, something was birthed, even though it was maybe they were like, oh, I don't know, even if you thought to yourself, did something really happen, right? Because sometimes we'll be in the atmosphere and sometimes we have to digest the information after the fact. I'm that type of person. I'll be in the atmosphere and I'm so heavy into it that I have to go back and kind of either journal or reflect. Then I get the hindsight is 2020 for me sometimes. I have to go back and then begin to digest it. And then I'm able to pull from it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what happened in the room, right? So for anyone who maybe is unsure, uncertain, like, I don't know, and how am I going to say this? And it wasn't like that. The transparency was on a different level. The honesty of the women was on a different level, right? People were real, and not in a way where, we can be in situations and not want to tell how we really felt at that time because we're like, I don't want to be judged, right? I remember somebody saying, I should not, I think it was your friend who came with you. She was like, this is how I was. This is what I was doing. This is what I was doing in my marriage. And I'm not that person anymore. God had to shine a light. And now because of that revelation, I'm able to look at the situation and say, okay, God, change me. This is where I'm healed, right? And now I'm speaking to my daughter about it. That thing stood out. It still stands out in my mind about her testimony. But how many times do we sometimes want to show people the best of us, right? And don't talk about what happened in the past, right? So we able to say, this is who I was, and this is where I am right now, and I'm still struggling. And people to accept you and really love you, right? We talk about it all the time when it comes to love, and there's a definition that the world gives, and there's one that the Bible gives, and the one that the Bible gives is the true definition of love, because that's the way that God embraces us. That when we're in situations, we're hurting and we're in pain, He fully embraces us, and so we're in the room with people who fully embraced you. There was no, oh my God, I can't believe, or side eye, that type of thing. It was a really safe environment. So for those who are kind of like, oh, I don't know, listen, for me to be in the room and not know anyone, it was safe. I left empowered. I left, like I said before, that gut punch that I felt, begin to explore it and realize that, okay, God, this is what you want to do next, right? So even though there was a seed that was planted by different women, by what they were saying, we know that that seed had fell on good ground. And right now, I'm sure if we were to take all of the women and bring them back, they're in a different place they were when they first came into the room. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. And I was thinking about one of the ladies. She shared before she left. She was like, I didn't realize so many people dealt with that. And that's what I'm saying. Like even when I opened up, is when we share our stories, it gives people power to share theirs. Because the enemy tries to make us think that it's only you. You're the only one dealing with this. You all by yourself. And the devil is a liar. You're not. You are not the only person that's dealing with that. You're not the only person dealing with infidelity. You're not the only person dealing with rejection, abandonment, shame, guilt, all those things. But that's what he used to keep us hostage. And he'll tell us, oh, if you say something, they're going to judge you. No, not here. That's not what this is. We are all coming with the same purpose, and that is to heal openly. And so, thank you so much for sharing that and sharing your experience. The next question that I'm going to ask, and I'll ask it to both of you, but I'll start with Chanel, and that is, what did you learn from the other women in the room? And I think we've kind of hit on this a little bit about, the transparency and people sharing, but what would you say personally that you learned from somebody else in the room?
I learned that some people didn't know their own strength or their boldness that they had. So I started seeing, now this is seeing through my prophetic eye, but what I saw was when people were sharing a story, I can tell that that was they recognize it's a boldness on them. They're not only a boldness, they recognize I can say this, I can share this. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good for them. This is good for me. I can share. Because, one thing about it, I don't care how well you got it. I don't care how many books you got. I don't care what's going on. In rooms like that, Doc, it helps you to be able to flow and share. And so that's what I saw, a safe place to share, not only a safe place to share, the boldness to share, because sometimes you sit back and I don't care what it is, you're trained probably by your upbringing or whatever, you keep your mouth shut. Don't say that, just listening, grab what you can and keep it moving. No, I sensed it was an issue of blood. And I sensed that we had to touch the hem of his garment, and in touching it is sharing our story, is embracing each other, is crying with each other, it's laughing with each other, it's even not knowing with each other. I don't know what's going to happen, but hey, at least I got it out of me. So that, I believe that was the good thing in the environment and things that I saw. I wrote down something else because my girl said something. Um, the questions. I must say this, Doc. I have been in all kinds of settings, conferences, big, small, whatever. I've been in women's meetings and stuff. I have often been preached to, taught at, but never had the opportunity to use my voice, never had the opportunity to share what's really on me, what's hurting me, or what I need to bring out. So that's what I see in Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk is not just you preaching or teaching us, and we have no room or no place to say, this is, I'm bleeding. I don't know how to go. I don't know where to go from here, because I may have had a beautiful life. I'm just stuck now. As a woman, I'm stuck, and I don't know who I can share that I'm stuck, because I got it together. I'm all that in the bag of chips, but I'm stuck. I don't have, he didn't do nothing wrong to me. We good. I'm just stuck. What do I do when I'm stuck? When I'm stuck, I lost me being a wife. I lost me working. I lost me ministering. I lost me. So now I'm stuck. So I'm not coming to say, this man dogged me out. Help me get to my next, help me forgive. But I know that the Pillow Talk also will deal with, or is dealing with, even being stuck. So I think that ladies need to know it's not just this one thing that draws you to Pillow Talk. And you only qualify if your husband cheated. You only qualify if you cheated. You only qualify if you thinking about getting a divorce. No, you qualify in many ways. So that's me. I probably got off again, but I'm sorry if I got off again. I'm telling you, it's
No.
knowing, no, it's really knowing that this thing is bigger than, I can't even say it because Katrina know when I say it's bigger than Nino Brown. It's just bigger. It's bigger. Don't get your mind in a place. Don't pigeonhole Pillow Talk. Can I say that? And look,
Yes.
she
Yes.
she didn't buy me lunch for saying it, but don't because this is part of your journey. This is part of your freedom. Because one thing about freedom, sometimes it's expressed in one way. You know how we now get stuck? It's our way, or the highway. Is you. We only can do it this way, and I believe Pillow Talk is going to introduce you to a way that is your way. Yeah, and you never knew it because you didn't see it. You always saw, again, being taught to, preached to, being said what you need to do, but I can't open my mouth. And here you get to open your mouth, you get to say stuff, you get embraced. You know, I think that, okay, I'm gonna stop. Katrina, you probably gonna say, don't even invite
No.
Chanel.
No, no, this is good. And I love that you shared what you shared because that's the one thing, and I've shared this before. When people see anything that I do, the first thing they think is they have to have been impacted by infidelity, and that's not true. And I know why they get that because that's my story. And that's what I share to connect with those that are called to me, but it is so much greater. It is about healing. It's not, you don't have to, that's not a prerequisite. You know how when we go to college, you got prerequisite courses. Infidelity is not a prerequisite for pillow talk. The prerequisite is I need to come and I need to be around other women where I can share and get some sort of help. And that's the thing. I told Chanel this, and I think we all need to figure out a way to I want to have this conversation deeper because people see healing negatively. When you say, oh, you need to heal, they immediately clam up and it's associated with shame and something nasty done happened. But no, we can need to heal from having the lack of boundaries. We can need to heal because I've invested everything in climbing the corporate ladder and everything in building my family, and I lost Katrina. I lost who I am. I don't even know what I like doing. That you just that's a form of healing. You need to heal from that. You need to get yourself back on the list so you can take care of you. And it blows my mind, but people, when I talk about taking care of yourself, people will tell me, especially us strong women, y'all, I cannot say it enough, don't sleep on y'all strong sisters because they need y'all. They'll tell me, how do I do that? You're telling me to take care of myself. How do I do that? I don't know what to do. And to the natural mind, you think, what do you mean you don't know how to take care of yourself? But we have been taking care of other people for so long, y'all. I understand. I understand how you can look up one day and not know what to do for you because you're never on the list. You always taking care of the children, your husband, the church, Mama, Pookie, Ray Ray. You taking care of everybody, not everybody except yourself. So I do understand how you can get in a place lost. And I believe that coming to Pillow Talk helps you with that. It number one helps you identify that you are lost. Because sometimes when you mention it to people, we all got it together. Everything is wonderful and altogether lovely. But when you sit in a room with women that are sharing their stories, it gives you the freedom to examine yourself, not for nobody else to judge you, for you to examine yourself and say, wait a minute, I do that. I need to stop doing that. I just did spoke at a conference in March, and I got to meet one of the ladies. She came up to me and she said, you know, she was thanking me. I did it on self-care. And she was like, thank you so much for what you shared. She was like, because I had totally took myself off the list. She said, I stopped doing things for me. She was like, and because of what you shared, she's like, I've started back implementing my boundaries and I've started back working out. That's what it's all about. It's not for me to get the big head. Whatever it is that you get when you come to Pillow Talk, that's what it's for. It's for you to get back on the track because we can get off track. We can fall down. Chanel taught this a long time ago at one of our LRT meetings. And she was talking about how we as sisters, if you fall in that pit, it's my responsibility to come help you up out of the pit. And that's what Pillow Talk is. Some you might be in a pit today and don't have a clue how to get out. And you're so bombarded with the cares of life that you can't even raise your hand to say, I need a hand up. But you know it. You know it. You've seen the post. You know that I need to be there, but because of life and the fear of being rejected and being judged and being shamed and all of those things, you're like, nope, I can't do it. I can do it on my own. We need people. You need me, I need you. We need our sisters because there are moments when I'm not strong. And these two ladies you see on here, they can pick me up, they can carry me, and vice versa. And so it's important to be surrounded by other sisters, other positive people. You don't need nobody to help you stay down in the pit, because some people, they want to do that. They want to help you stay down. They might even push some dirt over your head. Let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. Okay. So, but that's not pillow talk. So if you are stuck, if you feel like you need a lifting up, if you've been impacted by infidelity, if you struggle with forgiving, if you struggle with rebuilding trust with other people, if you need to come and be surrounded by some strength and get something imparted into you so that you can go out and get back on track, I invite you to click the link and go ahead and register today so that you can be in the room on May 20th. That said, let me see where we at on here. Oh, I feel Jesus, Lord have mercy. Help me stay on the page. Ooh, where I'm at, y'all. I think no, there's two more questions. So, and I'm gonna start with you, Jajisa. And that
Did
is, go ahead.
did I answer the last question? Did I go first?
I don't know, girl. I probably just jumped right on in there. Look, go ahead, cause I don't work myself up hot over here, y'all. I ain't
Did
playing.
yeah, did
Look,
I?
look. Answer. Do I need to repeat the question? Because, girl, I listen.
What
I got
what was
carried
the
away. I'm
question, Dr.
sorry.
J?
Oh, what did you learn from the other women in the room?
Yeah, because I was like, hold
No,
on, did
you
I?
didn't answer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got. Listen, I'm telling you. Whew.
Oh
What
my
they say,
God.
the anointment. I feel the anointment. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel the anointment.
Oh my God. Okay, so a couple of things came to mind, and the Lord gave me healing is tangible if you're willing to let go. And so I think the biggest thing is
Ooh, that's good. Say that again.
oftentimes healing is tangible if you're willing to let go. And I think a lot of times we think it has to come a certain way from the people that are close to us or familiar with us. And we're in a room, like I said, full of strangers. And healing was in the room because of the vulnerability of the women, right? The like you said, the fear, putting the fear down, not worrying about these people don't know me or will they take my business, go back and tell X, Y, and Z, right? But because of the fact that I'm willing to just say, you know what, forget about it. I'm just gonna say what I got to say. And then and in the midst of it, understanding that that fear could block you from receiving what you really need. So with the letting go, we begin to receive what it is that we need. And it doesn't have to come from someone that we feel like, okay, I got to go to X, Y, and Z, my pastor, whoever. And don't get me wrong, that may be a place that you can go to, but sometimes it's not. God will use any willing vessel. And so to be in a room and sit there with women who, at the end of the day, every last one of them was anointing, even if they knew it or not, right? And knew that God was taking them through specific things that they would basically I think about it because when you don't open your mouth, you're blocking someone else's blessing. That person can't receive what they need. So the more we keep sharing, we have to understand that we are walking vessels of God, each and every woman. So somebody has to share something. Now, if Dr. K opens her mouth and said something, God is speaking. Now, Chanel opens her mouth, God is speaking. So if we understand that, then why would I sit down and say to myself, then I'm not going to say it? Because that journey, right? You're going to help the other person and give them a leg up. As I heal and I'm mended, I can say to that person, you know what? I've been in this situation before, right? And this is how I got through, right? And so I thought about it too, because even if it does not apply to you, you can be in it and it might be not be your particular thing that you're dealing with. I look at everything that was said in the room as arsenal tools. I can put all these tools I can put in my belt, right? So even if I come upon that situation, oh, you know what, I remember when X, Y, and Z said this when I went to pillow talk, right? And it's in my arsenal now and I can use it. Oh, I remember when she said X, Y, and Z, and I can apply this to it. So we have to look at it as it's when earlier you said it's an investment, Chanel. It is an investment. Oftentimes as women, we like, listen, I am a person who likes my makeup, I like my hair done, I love my lashes, I'm that person. But how many times do we spiritually invest in ourselves? God is about the inner work, right? The inner healing of who we are as women. And so he says, prioritize yourself as daughters of God. And so that is the thing. We talked about it, I think, a couple of years. I don't want to, has it been a couple of years ago, Dr. K? But the year of the women, about women rising up in this season, right? And so God
The
is
last couple
prioritizing,
years.
yeah, last couple of years. And so it's been, God, that's crazy. God prioritizing his women, right? Too often have we sit on the back burner. You keep saying it, Dr. K. I'm the wife, I'm the mother, I'm this, I'm the daughter. I take the back seat to everybody. What about me, right? what was so, and I'm gonna kind of share this a little bit as a point of my, and I'm probably going into the next question. God forgive me. But I think about the experience because I
Roll.
remember at one point in my marriage, I lost myself. I forgot what Jisa liked. Right? I did. I totally. And I remember one day Dr. K saying something to me, and a light bulb went off. I was like, oh my God, I really lost myself. Right? And so if I'm in the room and I'm sitting in there and I'm like, this is too common. It's too common, right? And so I'm drawing from it and I'm learning that it's okay. I don't have to be on, quote unquote, on 24 hours a day, right? I need to spend some time with just Jisa, right? And it's okay for me to sit down and not do anything, right? If I need that time and disconnect, it's time for me to disconnect, right? And so I think just sitting in there, it really gave it. Listen, it's profound. There's no other word I can explain it. But when you sit down and you really can sit down, you can really take in and capture everything that's happening. You'll realize how God moves in such a mighty way, and that at the end of the day, there's nothing that you could lose from the investment, right? And so if you're investing in your treasures, not the earthly ones, the treasures of your spirit, of your soul, that at the end of the day, the outcome of what is producing in terms of the fruit and you healing in totality, nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken. That's what you have to invest. You have to invest in that healing so you can become who God has called you to be.
Mm. Whew, child. I think listen. So you know what? We just gonna this we gonna end with this question right here because I tell you what, y'all are blessing my whole natural soul. And I'm grateful because as I said when we started, more than anything, my heart's desire is that some woman listening to this be encouraged. And so I pray that those of you all that are listening in, I saw Sherry jump on earlier. Dion is listening in. Terry is listening. I can't track everybody because I'm trying to, pay attention to what's in front of me. So if I didn't call your name, please don't charge it to my heart. But just know that I thank you for tuning in. I pray that you have shared it out on your page that somebody else might be blessed. We don't know who needs to be encouraged today. And at the end of the day, that's what this is about. It's about some woman being encouraged. If she can't even get to pillow talk, I want her to get some level of hope so that she can keep pressing, so that she can go on and get all that God has for her. So we're going to end with this question right here. And I'll start with you, Chanel, and then we can go to Jajisa. Why do you think, and you've said it throughout this entire panel interview, so I'm going to ask you again, and I know that there's some more in there because he said, why do you think pillow talk is
Looks
important
like
for
I
women
can't.
to attend? So why do you think pillow talk is important for women to attend? And like I said, I know you've hit on it. All both of y'all have hit on it throughout the entire thing, but I believe there's something else in there in you that you need to share with the women, and somebody's going to be blessed by it. So go ahead, prophetess.
Well, I wrote down before you asked the question, I wrote down find it. And find it, what came to my mind is if something is, say, like something is ailing your body, and if the doctor can find it, he can get it out and save. He can get it out so your body can heal again. So or your body can function the way it needs to function. So a lot of times when we don't find ourselves in a room of pillow talk or find ourselves in a room where ladies can discuss, some things will never be found. We'll just go on, living the life and accepting what's been thrown at us and not using tools or having your arsenal, have the tools to fight, the tools to win, the tools to discover. You won't have none of that because you're not in a place where it can be found. So I believe pillow talk is somewhere it can be found. That thing that's foreign in you can be found and poured out so things can be poured in that can help you live again, to help you discover again, to help you to find you again, to help you to be the best that you can be. So for pillow talk, I would say you will find it. You will find, if you come through those doors, if you listen, if you share, if you say, you know, when you go to the doctor and you sit before the doctor and the doctor say, what's the problem? If you don't tell him it's my shoulder, how do he know? So that's what happens when you're in a room where you are free to talk and free to share. My shoulder hurts. Then that's when they can work on that shoulder. That's when they can find out. But they're going to ask you a question about the shoulder. Did you hurt it? Did you sleep some kind of way? How does it feel? What does it do? Do it pop when you move this way or that way? These are the things that happen when we're talking. And sometimes your sister has the remedy, or your sister she been there before and she knows, hey, I can tell you about that. Or something, a tool that Doc is sharing can help you heal. So I end with, on my end, I end with, find it. If you come in a room, it can be found. It can be found, not only found, it can be taken out and replaced with the things that it needs to be replaced, so you can live again, move again, and again discover. I'm stuck on that discovery thing because I'm telling you, I'm in a season of discovering me. And as you discover you discover what can be gone, that you can still live without it. You can still live with it or without it. You will learn. So for me, Doc, I would say pillow talk. It can, if you come and you believe, listen to that word, believe that it's in the house. And so when you come, you can come and it can be found out, the illness, the thing that's holding you up, the thing that's been spoken over your life that ain't right, the thing that you spoke over your life that ain't right, the thing, that low self-esteem, the struggles, the pain, all of that can be discovered. And as it's being discovered, it can be replaced with the things God original intent for you and every area of your life. So find it. So when you walk in a room, walk in that room on May the 20th looking for that thing that's going to find, let it be found, be open. That means ask those questions. That means be vulnerable, because it'll be found out, and then you'll get the release you need. You'll get some tool. You'll get something. So I'm good. I'm done, I think.
I love it. I love it, Jisa.
Why is pillow? Hold on, let me make sure I got the. Why do I think pillow talk is important for women? There's something that Dr. K always says about normalizing healing. And that's a place that we need to. Pillow talk is doing that's just that thing, is normalizing it. So no longer is it taboo. No longer is it, I'm not going to touch that particular subject. I'm just going to ignore this thing. And I'm going to go biblical because that's where my heart, the Lord is leading me there. He has given us freedom. So why would we accept anything less? Right? Healing is something that we should pursue. We should be in pursuing of it. If God has said, I've given you this life and this life, nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken. If I literally have given you a life of freedom, and we know that our soul goes through a process, our soul salvation, we're working it out, right? We should be in pursuit of healing. So healing should be normalized to us, right? So when I think about pillow talk, it literally aids and caters to that very thing, so that I can go somewhere and receive the pickup that I need, right? And as I begin to get what I need from when I come to Pillow Talk and go home and continue the journey, right? I know that I'm not accepted the fragmented. I'm just not going to be in agreement with the fragmented me, right? I'm going to pursue this thing until I become all of what God has called me to be. We got to really think about it, because why would it not be? It's written in the Bible, right? He said, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom and liberty. If I'm not living freedom and liberty, I'm living half of or less than of what he already said I'm supposed to be, right? So pillow talk is important for that thing, is to live a life of what God has promised. We think about it, and these cycles that oftentimes, I want to say that pillow talk is a source of encouragement as well, because if we look at it, sometimes we can continue on this journey and we think that it could be a continuous cycle that's never broken. And one encounter and everything just changed, right? Because you have invested, you've done your part. Now, God, listen, here I am, right? I've made the investment. I followed you. I was obedient, right? And as I did it, this cycle, this thing I've been struggling with is now broken. Just because I did what you said to do, right? And so I think about them because for some reason, now that, oh, you're going to prophetic now, somebody will come. There's somebody who will listen to this. I don't know when, if they're on live, but there's a cycle that you have been walking through and you've been asking yourself, will it ever end? And it literally takes one encounter with God. I want you to know that we live in chronological time, meaning that there's hours on a clock, but God lives in the kairos. And all it takes is the two things to collide. And once they collide, God shifts things suddenly. So I thank you. Understand this. Follow the Lord. Be obedient to Him. Pillow talk is necessary because the thing is, you're necessary to God. You're important to God, right? And so if we're just willing, Father, I'm willing. I'm going to follow you. I don't know where you're taking me, right? But as you take me to this place, right, I'm going to receive what I want, right? I'm going to receive that what you want to give me. This man, we know the story of Bethesda. He's laying on but he said, pick up your bed and walk, right? How many times are we walking? We're crippled, we're wounded. Some of it, I remember one season of my life, I literally was, the lady said to me, it was like I was broke, I was walking on a broke leg. And I was carrying the boulder, the weight of the world. How many women are walking with unnecessary burdens, false burdens that God said we don't have to carry? And a lot of the times, because of what society tells us, what type of mother we have to be, what kind of wife we have to be, that we think we got to carry the burden. But the Lord says, I am the burden carrier. Come to Pillow Talk because you want to learn how to do it God's way. Come to Pillow Talk because you want things to shift. You don't no longer want to live by societal standards of what you have to be as a woman, but you want to live according to what God says, that you're not bound by all these unnecessary expectations of who you are as a woman. You just sitting there, God is pleased with you. You don't have to say a word. He's still pleased with you. And oftentimes we have these false identities, all these things that we have to be for other people. And God is saying, no, daughter, you're mine first. Your mind first. So it's time to feed our souls. It's time to nourish our spirits. It's time to understand that, listen, this is far beyond me being wife, mother, businesswoman, all the titles. I'm a daughter of the King. And as I come to Pillow Talk, I'm going to learn, I'm going to relearn, I'm going to unlearn some things and relearn some things about what God has called me to be just as his daughter, right? And so when you're in the atmosphere, God begins to move. The humility of Dr. K, we all know here at the end of the day, anybody who has encountered her, it's about the Spirit of the living God. She takes no glory because it belongs to him. So because she's a willing vessel, the Lord tends to move in a mighty way, right? And so come to Pillow Talk because there's something that you desire, right? And as you feel the Lord unctioning you, listen, and that's another thing I want to say as well. Don't worry about the finances not being in place. Now, don't worry about the plane ticket, not knowing where the money gonna come from. Trust the Lord, because the Lord is calling you there. He will provide all of it. He will provide all of it. All he wants to know is, will you be obedient and will you trust him? He'll make the way out of no way, right? And so that's what I want to say. Come to Pillow Talk for those reasons. You've heard us talk from the beginning to end. And a lot of the times, the reason why we kept flowing into the next question is because all of it is joined together. It's almost like that's how the prophetic words. We'll just flow off of it, right? But listen, if you really, really are serious about normalizing and getting your plate, accepting freedom, right? Accepting it and walking in it and not accepting anything else, come to Pillow Talk.
Jesus. I ain't got nothing else to say. I don't have nothing else to say. Oh, Lord, I feel like I need to have an altar call. Jesus, have mercy, Lord. Thank you. My God. That's it, y'all. I'm not gonna come behind that. I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't need to. Thank you so much, prophetess. If either of y'all have anything else that y'all would like to say, I open the floor to you. I believe what God has given us. I believe he's well satisfied. He say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. I believe, who God, I don't want to cry. I believe that what God intended to happen out of this broadcast, I believe that it happened. And I have to allow that. My soul, it has to be well with my soul. And so that's all I'm going to say. If y'all don't have nothing else to say, I'm going to end this because I am about to start bawling, but I am just grateful. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to
If you
God.
are
Thank you.
interested, Dr. K has the link going across the screen, right? So if you're interested in purchasing your ticket now, definitely before the broadcast ends, you want to make sure you copy that. It's really quick, it's really short. So just go ahead and take a screenshot if you need to, collect it, and we hope to see you at Pillow Talk. Listen, don't waste your time. Go ahead and start putting the coins together. Put your little stuff together and get it together, right? Get your ticket, find your and the thing about it is the place that you're going to is absolutely beautiful. You're going to love it, right? So listen, if you're serious about this thing, don't waste any time. Don't make any excuses, right? Just follow the leading of the Holy Spirit and do what you need to do.
Thank you so much. And I pinned it, I believe, in the comments as well. So you should be able to click on it from there. Whew. But if you can't find it in the comments, it's on the screen. I'll leave it here for another 30 seconds and we're gonna get on up out of here. Thank you guys again for coming on and sharing with me. Like I said, it's always good to see it and to hear it from another person's view. There was another young lady that was gonna join us tonight, but her schedule did not allow. So it is what it is. God has done what he is going to do. Again, I believe that we all have shared it out on our pages. For those of you that are tuned in, if you would share it on yours, if you know someone that can be blessed by Pillow Talk, I ask that you share it with them. And until next time, you all, we gonna come back on here and dig a little deeper in some of this stuff that's gonna be unrelated to Pillow Talk because I just feel like there's a need. Um, but there's so much I feel bubbling up. But y'all stay on the lookout. We'll be back on a very soon and coming day. I am going to end this broadcast right now, ladies. Y'all hang tight.